Dear colleagues, dear participants in the workshop of Science Europe, I'm Anne-Hélène Prieur-Richard, head of the Department Environment, Ecosystems and Biological Resources at the French National Research Agency. Representing here our CEO, Thierry Damerval, for sustainability and environmental issues. Regarding the transition to net zero and climate change research, we are funding projects through three main schemes. The first one is about international collaboration. And for many years now, we are deeply engaged in several initiatives, European initiatives, such as the GPI for joint program initiatives on climate or on food systems and climate change, as well as with the Belmont Forum for collaborative research funding on sustainability research. We are, since this year, also deeply engaged in developing the new European partnerships, so under Horizon Europe, several of them related to net zero transition, such as the one on biodiversity, which includes topics such as the nature-based solutions. So not only looking at technological solutions, but also nature-based solutions. The one on urban transition, as well as the partnership on energy. Example in which we will be conducted actions towards net zero transition. The second scheme is our generic call for proposals, under which several thematic areas contribute to the knowledge on net zero transition. So as we can think about, sustainable energy or energy transition are two topics in which the French proponent can apply to. But we also have topics such as social and environmental transition, sustainability science, as well as interactions between biodiversity and climate, and better knowledge and management of socio-ecological systems. Under this generic call for proposals, applicants inform us about the SDGs to which their projects contribute since 2019. And as an example, in 2020, 68% of the funded projects addressed at least one Sustainable Development Goal of the UN. The main one is about health, and the second most prominent in the projects is about industry, innovation, and infrastructures. The third schemes of the French National Research Agency is that ANR is operating a very large national investment for the future. So this investment for the futures has been established in 2010, and the last program was published in 2021 with an investment of 20 billion euros for the coming years. And in this investment, there are several priorities related to net zero transition, such as decarbonized hydrogen, recycling, innovation for sustainable cities, or decarbonization of mobility. And in 2021, so last September, we announced the first results for a bottom-up call for exploratory priority research program and equipment as part of this investment for the future. We funded 4 programs, and one was directly related to net zero transition, and is about pathways towards carbon neutrality through carbon in terrestrial ecosystems. So these were mostly the instruments we can use, but I wanted to also point out two main things. The first one is that although ANR is funding mostly fundamental research, we think that to address societal challenges, issues such as the net zero transition, we really need to fund a continuum of research from low to high level of technological readiness. So we have several instruments for that. The first one, as part of the generic call for proposal, is what we call our PRCE, which is about collaborative research projects with private sector. And if I take the thematic areas of energy, in 2020, we funded 30% of projects collaborating with private sector, addressing different kind of transition, energy and transition. We also have specific instruments. One is going one step further in terms of engagement with the private sector. This is our program Labcom, which has funded several projects on solar or hydrogen energy. And another type of specific call we named maturation aims at achieving technological readiness levels of 5 to 6. And we have one, for example, in the field of agriculture and pesticides. In addition to those specific instruments, which aims at getting towards innovations and engagements with the private sector, we also think that a key aspects for efficient science policy society interface is the engagements with stakeholders at large. So private sector is one type of stakeholders, but we can think also of NGOs or decision makings at different levels. And for this, I would like to name two things. The first one is that we are able to fund, as part of our collaborative research projects, stakeholders working with academic partners. And we think that this is really key to make sure that, first of all, we align the needs of stakeholders with the research, as well as to have a better uptake of research outcomes. And we are funding those kind of projects, not only at the national level, but also at the international level, especially through the Belmont Forum on Sustainability Science. The second point to on this efficient science policy society interface is a new program which has just started about reinforcement of interactions between science, society, and technology through the different type of cultures. And we just released the first call on mediations between science and the general public, as well as a call will be issued on participatory science. And we will have a series of specific actions around science and communication. We'll be very pleased to go further and discuss those aspects with you during the workshop on the 8th of November. Thank you very much.